Hey guys, in this video I'm going to share with you all of the fun ways we celebrate Easter in this house. Resurrection eggs, crafts, books, egging your neighbors, one of the coolest ways ever to invite your neighbors to church. Stay tuned to the end of the video and you'll get to see my kids egg one of our neighbors. It's so much fun. How do I do the Easter bunny? How do I get my kids prepped for one of the busiest Sunday mornings at church? So we're going to head over to my table and I'm going to give you all the details. Stay tuned.
You're watching Food Joy Mom.
Well, if you are new here, my name is Dawn Marie and I am a mom of 4 kids, 6 and under, and I love Easter. It is one of my favorite holidays, and so I'm so excited to be telling you all the cool things that I do with my kids. So the first thing we're going to talk about is these resurrection eggs. You can get this at a Christian bookstore, or I will stick the link below for you. Or you could even make your own. I actually have a little bit of like a hodgepodge of both because this pile here is literally the original resurrection eggs that my mom made when I was a child, including the bread. Like, look at this. Oh my goodness. So funny. But so she made her own set, and then the kids destroyed the box from the set that I purchased. Actually, I think this one was hers too. So anyways, I'm gonna show you how these work. My kids just love this, and my son Jackson liked this before the whole surprise egg blew up. You know, this was fun even before then. So what resurrection eggs are, the book that it comes with is really great, but it wouldn't be necessary if you wanted to make it on your own. But it literally has Bible verses. It color coordinates the eggs so that you as a mom know what's in each color. And when my son was little, what I did was I did one egg at a time, so that every day before Easter we were getting to do a new egg and we were reviewing the eggs from the day before. The first year I did that with him, I think he was 2 going on 3, or maybe he was already 3, but he remembered from there on out. Like, that stuck so permanently in his head. It was just really fun for him to have something to hold, to play with, to look at. And so the book has some scriptures in it and then an explanation if you'd like help on that. But now I have 4 kids and things are a little bit crazier, so we just kind of wing it sometimes. But so you would have all of your different symbols or pieces are already in the eggs when you do it with your kids. But so what the original set includes is the stone that was rolled away, a whip for when Jesus was beaten, a donkey. I guess I should be showing them to you closer, sorry. A donkey, the coins, praying hands for when Jesus prayed in the garden, communion cup, the crown of thorns, the nails, a die, and then a spear. So that is just a really fun way for them to see something and get to talk about it, and the surprise of what's on the inside of the eggs, and can they remember, that was only 11. The last egg is empty for the empty tomb. And then my mom's set had a little bit of a different variation, and I don't have all 12 here, I think. So she did for the crown of thorns, she literally went to a rose bush and picked off a thorn, and so she would pass the thorn around the room and you could feel how pokey and sharp it was. She has some old school wooden dies that I feel like looks like she literally made them. The bread, a cross. She made some little money out of, I don't know what those are called. They look like sequins, that's what they are. Sequins inside of some tulle, that was the money. This one has always stumped me. I'm like, would you have told a kid about like how they put wine on a sponge up to like, I don't know. But any case, maybe this should be like the mystery. If you can identify that, you get a prize. What do you think that would be for? Like, am I missing a part of the gospel? Oh, you know what? This set's missing linen. Sorry, it must be in an egg. But the linen that Jesus was wrapped in, and then I believe that this was like maybe the veil that was torn in two she would have talked about, or something like that. So you could totally make your own set. The whole point of that is that you could make your own set, and this is a really great way to hands-on have your kids know the real story of Easter. And then something that I like is to teach my kids with books that are, like a lot of us have the Bible where it has a page or two for each story. There's something that I would recommend for the big holidays is to slowly accumulate books that go along with your kids' age level. So this one I literally picked up at a secondhand store for 50 cents, and it is a Tommy Nelson book. I will stick a link below for that. But it is, page by page, really great with the explanations. We actually just did this the other day, and you're building a strong foundation for your kids, and you're going to build upon that. They don't need to know every detail, or they don't need to know every piece in great detail. As my children get older, I will absolutely expound on what that whip looked like, right? But for now, the piece of leather that comes in the kit and the knowing that it is by the stripes on Jesus' back we were healed is the healing to me. Is the important part. But so I like books that aren't just part of your little Bible, because those ones tend to be shorter. And this one even includes Jesus riding in on the donkey. So I really like this book. And then crafts. The crafts, like you can go on Pinterest, right? But what I really like is I did some Oriental trading. Actually, my mother-in-law gifted them to me 3 years ago. This one back here should say Jesus on it, but yeah. But so like we got that in a large quantity, right? Then we got a whole bunch of different kind of cross crafts that are foam with tons of stickers. And what's really cool about getting it through Oriental Trading is you're going to do it every year with your kids, and they don't care. These crafts, there's a handful of them from Oriental Trading, have lasted me, I think this is the 3rd year, and we're just slowly starting to run out of supplies. In fact, I just kind of have like a big bag of the leftovers. Well, Jackson's watching the video today. He wants to deliver me thanks, buddy, from under the table. You're so cute. Another bag of leftovers, but all these cool stickers. He lives, the Lamb of God, he's risen. And so what I like about that is as they're doing the craft and their hands are busy, they're staying still, and then I can be teaching them. And something that I always want them to know is that Jesus died for everyone on the cross, but he also died for you. Like I want them to understand the specific of it, that it was for you, Jackson, it was for you, Fiona. Like I want them to know it was specifically for them, but then also that it's a gift to everybody. So cute, because I told my son Jackson this morning, if you want to put your name on the cross, because Jesus died on the cross for you, then you can do that with the alphabet letters, and this is what he came up with. He put the entire alphabet on there because he said, well, Mommy, Jesus died for everybody with the names that begin with, and he sang the entire alphabet. So they're getting it. They are getting it little by little. Every Easter we build on it. And so you could do crafts from Pinterest, but for me, with 4 little kids, I so appreciate that my mother-in-law got me this, and I have a box of Easter, and this is the stuff, like I leave this book in the box with Easter so that it's a new thing every year when we bring it out. They love these eggs, they play with them all the time, but I put them away so it's a new thing, and they stay nice-ish, every year when I pull them out. So those are the kinds of crafts that we do, those are the kinds of books that we read, and let's now talk about the Easter Bunny a little bit. So I had some questions about, do we do the Easter Bunny? And, I want to start off by saying, whatever you pick is fine. I don't know if you've ever read the portion of scripture where it talks about how some people were eating meat and they were doing it as unto the Lord. They felt free to eat meat. They were okay with that. And other people were not eating meat and they didn't feel okay with that, but they were doing it as unto the Lord. And basically the point of that portion of scripture was that there are some things where you've got to choose what's right for you. And as for me and my house will serve the Lord, not meaning if you do the Easter Bunny, you don't serve the Lord, but meaning this is what we feel to do. This is what God has convicted us of. This is how we feel to walk our faith out. And so this is what we're doing. So what the Shook House does is not the Easter Bunny. Something that I'm really big on is making sure that my kids understand that being a Christian is way more fun than not being a Christian. I always want my kids to have more fun than the world is having fun, because that's why Jesus died on the cross, so that we could have and live an abundant life that is full of joy. So I'm not just going to be like, no, we don't do the Easter Bunny, so therefore you just get to hear about your friends getting candy, you just get to hear about your friends getting Easter baskets, you just get to hear about all these things. I mean, certainly sometimes there's stuff that I'm like, you're just going to hear about that because we're not going to do that in this house. But I think that So what we have done is a really good compromise, because we don't do the Easter bunny, mainly because it's distracting from Jesus, but also because it's a bunny that lays eggs. Bunnies are mammals, and they don't lay eggs, they lay babies. And so for me, I'm like, that's something that is outside of what God has created. And the biggest thing is that it's a lie. So I can't lie to my kids. Like, I can't lie to you. Anything. I don't want to ever be lying to them. And so I don't know. I didn't do the Easter Bunny growing up, so quite frankly, I don't even know how the Easter Bunny is supposed to go. I didn't miss him. I'm super thrilled that I didn't have to sit on some crazy, traumatizing, scary-looking bunny's lap and take a picture. Like, I'm so fine with that. I'm very okay with taking lots of other fun spring pictures and not ones with my kids on a bunny. But I know that some of you, that, might be something that you really like. So that's fine. So we have decorations around our house that are eggs. And we do Easter eggs and we dye Easter eggs, but everything that surrounds eggs has to do with the fact that Jesus died on the cross and came back to life so that we could live eternally, so that we could be born again. And it's all about life. So eggs to us in our house represent new life and spring and everything coming back to life. So that's how we do it with the Easter Bunny. And then we do baskets, I want my kids to know that things come from us or come from their grandparents or whoever. My aunt's wonderful. She sets up an Easter egg hunt for us every year. I want them to know so that they can be thankful. I don't want my children to be thankful to a bunny that doesn't exist. That's just us. I want them to know who things came from so that they can be thankful to the right people, and then also to know that every good and perfect gift comes from God, not from a bunny. So it was funny because you have to be careful. If you're going to teach your kids this stuff, then they're going to learn it, they're going to remember it, and they're going to stand on it. We were putting decorations on the window the other day, and it's all these really cute little eggs and chicks, like super adorable, fun pastel colors. But then there was a bunny in it, and my daughter Fiona brings it, and it wasn't like a cute bunny, it was the Easter Bunny, right? She brings it over to me, and she's like, "Here, Mommy, we don't do the Easter Bunny." I'm like, "Oh, you're right." So we had to get rid of the Easter Bunny. We don't have to be offensive with it. And that's a big deal for me and my kids. We want to be loved no matter what. This is not a salvation issue. This is you do it or you don't, and whatever you're doing, just have the right heart and do it as unto the Lord. So for us, I'm very careful with different holidays that, I don't make it about if you're a Christian, you do this, and if you're not a Christian, you do this. I'm very careful to make it about this is what our house has chosen to do, and then have something we celebrate instead. Like for us at Halloween time, we don't celebrate Halloween. We celebrate harvest time and God's blessing and harvest and do all the fun, but we don't do the Halloween. So I don't teach my kids to be like, Halloween is bad, meh. I teach my kids to be like, we choose not to celebrate that. We like to celebrate God's blessing and harvest time instead. It's very important to me that my kids walk in love. I don't care what else happens. We're going to be love in this house. So that's what we do for the Easter Bunny. And so my this is my favorite thing that we do at Easter. Oh my goodness, we've been doing this for 6 years now. This is a super simple way to evangelize and share the resurrection story of Jesus with your neighbors. So the little sign here that I have a link below so that you can go. Okay, so I made this website a while back and put all this time into it. There was this season where my kids were actually staying in bed when I told them to stay in bed, or when I put them to sleep, they were actually staying there. And so I made this website and I got done with it and I was like, I don't really know what I need this for. So I made it a while ago. It's been stashed there, and now here we are, fast forward to Easter, and I'm like, oh wait, I have to have a place to put this link for I did not come up with this idea. I found it from a blog years and years ago, and I have not been able to find that blog. So I made one up on my own, and I've put the link below, so you have to head over to this website that, praise the Lord, I created a while ago, and now I have a purpose for it. So you can get this free link. It is printed. I printed it on colored cardstock, but it's black and white. So if you just have regular printer paper, that's totally fine. You could literally just handwrite it out. It doesn't matter. But you've been egged. You hang this sign on the front door of their house. It says, hidden in your yard are 12 eggs. Don't be discouraged when you find the empty egg. It's only a simple reminder of the empty tomb. He is risen. Jesus is Lord. Happy Easter. I like to do it sneaky. I think that's really fun. The kids have fun with that. So what we do is we wait until they're not home or they're in their house. A lot of times it's like kids who are at school, and we tape this to their front door. Don't use like duct tape. I'm sure you could all come to that conclusion on your own, but just in case, that's probably not a blessing if your friends or your neighbor's door paint chips when they take their little sign off. So I like masking tape or scotch tape or stick it to the door knocker. But it's just 12 eggs. You fill the eggs. I have filled them with candy since I moved to Florida. It's kind of hot, so we haven't done candy. We've done like we'll go to the dollar store and get tiny little things that'll fit in eggs, and then you leave the one egg empty for them to find. One year I hid them so hard for the neighbor boy. This is like in Pennsylvania. He comes over to my house. He's like, "Hey, I got egged," and I can't lie, so I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Do you know who?" And I just can't answer. I'm like, "Yes, so you got egged?" He was so cute. He was like 9. He loved it. But I hid the eggs too hard, and he couldn't find them, so it made me like watch how hard you hide the eggs. And then ways that you invite them to church is either after the fact. If you have a little bit of relationship with them, you can be like, "Oh, I got egged," and you can personally invite them. Or maybe it's somebody that you don't know, but you know they have kids. You can tape, I reused, so I have stuff, I won't use this for a neighbor, but I've separated on the back. But you can tape, like if your church has a business card, or if you wanted to handwrite something out, or if they have flyers for Easter, however, or you could hide it in the egg. Whatever you wanted to do with that, get to be creative. Like I said, my kids love, love, love this idea. We've done it every year. You don't have to do it to invite people to Easter. We had pastors that had 2 kids that were living in our neighborhood, and Easter's such a busy time of year for pastors, so we just wanted to bless them, and it didn't come with a church invite, but it was super fun. So hope you like that idea. Get the link below from the website so that you can print that out. So another thing that is so important for me as a mom to teach my kids on Easter is the importance of them being mini little evangelists at church. They're going to go to church on Sunday morning on Easter, and that is one of the busiest holidays of the year at church. So there's going to be so many people that might not have ever heard about Jesus before. They're going to get to come to church, experience God's love, and I want my kids to be a part of that. And I want them to be prepared, and I want them to understand that every kid that's at church on Sunday morning, they might not all know about Jesus. There might be from all different kinds of houses, and it's so important for my kids to have in the front of their mind on Easter morning that they are going to be an example to the other kids in the classroom, being obedient no matter what the other kids are going to do. That they are, I should have said this first because this is most important, is that they are going to be loved. They need to show kindness to those kids in as many ways as possible, whether that's letting them get the snack first, play with the toy they want to play with, however my kids can show love, reaching out to introduce themselves. If there's a new kid in your class, you need to tell them your name and say hi to them. If there's somebody that's sad, you can try and comfort them and say, "This class is so much fun. You're going to love it. You're going to have so much fun." So that's super important for me to prep my kids so they know what they're going into and so that they can be a help and not a hindrance, that this is the entire church body coming together to share the love of Jesus with everybody that comes to church on Sunday mornings. So I really want to set my kids up for success, and then I want to always be the love of Jesus to everyone we're around. So those are all the ways that I celebrate Easter, and I get my kids ready, and we have a party to celebrate Jesus is risen, Jesus is Lord. I hope that you guys have an amazing Easter holiday. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week for another Tip Tuesday. Okay, so we've got our egg sign, we've got an invitation taped on the back. We signed it from the kids because we know these neighbors, so we're not going to do it a surprise. She's 3, so I don't really feel like she would understand the surprise. But we've got tape to tape it to the door, and then we've got our eggs. What do you think? You guys ready? You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go egg them. Here, let's go this. Tricky. Yeah, she's only 3. Okay, Liza, come get an egg. You got one? the spot for the big one. Everybody come give me high fives. Good job. You did it.
How else could I hit him?
We hit him. Will you give me a high five? Woohoo!